Good evening and welcome back to CNN Money Switzerland. I'm Ana Maria Montero with your latest headlines this Tuesday. Starting tonight right here in Switzerland, where today was the second day shops and restaurants were allowed to reopen as part of the government's second phase of loosening the restrictions. The number of cases continued to show signs of stabilizing, with only 36 people registered as infected since Monday, taking the total to 30,380. In the canton of Ticino, officials said no new cases or deaths were recorded in the last 24 hours for the first time since the outbreak began. Widening out now to other European countries, Germany today reported 933 new coronavirus cases in just 24 hours, according to the Robert Koch Institute. That's a dramatic jump from the 357 cases reported just the day before, bringing the national total to 170,508. The Institute said it's too early to tell whether the virus is on the rise again due to statistical uncertainties. Spain, meanwhile, will implement a 14-day mandatory quarantine for travelers arriving from overseas starting Friday, according to the country's health ministry. And in Italy, the government agreed to an acceleration of phase 2 of their rollback, meaning that bars, restaurants, and hairdressers will now join all other shops in reopening next Monday instead of the initial June 1st date. And the UK has extended its wage subsidy scheme for workers by 4 months to October as part of efforts to shore up its battered economy. Back to Switzerland now. With the shops closed for almost 2 months, online deliveries are booming. Swiss Post said it handled a record 17.3 million parcels in April alone. That's more than what it processes in December during the holiday period. Despite the increase, however, it did not bring in more staff, as it usually does in these busy times around Christmas. And parcel deliveries, they're not the only business that is booming. Logitech, which makes everything from keyboards to webcams, said sales jumped by 14% in the fourth quarter. For the fiscal year, that's about $2.98 billion US. CEO Bracken Darrell said the growth was being pushed by remote working and video conferencing, and that the ongoing coronavirus pandemic had only accelerated this trend. And after months of pacing floors at home, gym goers can now hit the treadmills after fitness studios across Switzerland open their doors this week. Tanya Koenig investigates the new world of working out.
It's been 2 months since the lockdown here in Switzerland, and now on May 11th, everything is opening up again, meaning stores, shops, restaurants, libraries, schools, and fitness centers. But how can people actually work out, making sure they adhere to the hygiene rules? I'm here in front of Active Fitness, which is one of Switzerland's biggest gym chains, to find out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and back. 2, 3. So here we are in front of the gym. As you can see, there are markers on the floor in case people are queuing up to keep the distance of 2 meters. They also ask people to keep the distance of 2 meters inside when training. And there is a maximum of 80 people allowed inside the studio, including staff. Also, they ask you if you have any symptoms, and if you don't, then you're allowed to enter the gym. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, there's disinfect to disinfect your hands, and then you actually check in by yourself. If you remember, you have your own card, and you can put it here and take one of the keys, which are disinfected. And by the amount of keys, they know how many people are actually here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As you can see, I'm already changed because the gym is actually recommending people to come changed to the gym, as well as taking their showers at home, so less people are in the wardrobe.
Wir sind sehr erleichtert, dass wir endlich nach 2 Monaten die Studios wieder eröffnen können. Es war eine lange Zeit der Schließung. Wir haben uns viele Gedanken gemacht und viele Kundenanrufe bekommen. Die Kunden sind wirklich glücklich, dass sie heute unsere Studios wieder besuchen dürfen.
And where the 2 meters are actually not granted, they just closed down the devices and they are not to be used. So an employee of the gym is making sure that the devices are cleaned every hour, and this is of course besides the actual people that are using it already cleaning the machines. Und diese 2 Monate Lockdown, was haben die bedeutet jetzt aus einer finanziellen Perspektive?
Ja, das war eine sehr schwierige Zeit, weil die meisten Studios waren kulant gegenüber ihren Mitgliedern. Das heißt, sie haben eigentlich die letzten 2 Monate nichts vereinnahmt, was wiederum bedeutet, dass sie keinen Umsatz verbuchen konnten. Obwohl sie Fixkosten haben, natürlich ein Teil der Personalkosten, auch wenn man über die Kurzarbeitszeitentschädigung etwas zurückerhalten hat. Aber das ist eine harte Zeit finanziell für alle Studios in der Schweiz.
Und Sie sind natürlich eine große Kette, die größte in der Schweiz. Wahrscheinlich ist das etwas besser als für die kleinen Studios. Was stellen Sie sich da vor?
Das ist für alle gleich hart. Also das Entscheidende ist, ob Sie ein Unternehmen sind, das diesen Schaden tragen kann und so in eine gesicherte Zukunft gehen kann, oder ob Sie daran scheitern werden.
And this room here is being used for group fitness, meaning classes such as yoga or aerobics. But at the moment, they're not doing any classes because that will go under the term of events. And then you can only have 4 people, which is too little for them to actually give classes. Therefore, they used the room to put a few more devices so they can ensure even more distance between them.
5, 6, 7, 8 and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and back.
And that was the first day with gyms back open here in Switzerland. As you could see, not too many people were here, so still enough people for the maximum number required. So if you're sitting at home doing nothing, you know what you can do. Get some training done.
Gyms and shops were not the only public places to open this week. Museums across Switzerland have also started welcoming back visitors. We made a quick stop in Lausanne to the Cantonal Museum of Fine Arts, which has been open less than 5 months in its new building before it was forced to close its doors. Let's take a listen.
It's a huge pleasure for us to welcome the first visitors back to the Musée Cantonal des Beaux-Arts. Today we will reopen the collection section only, not the main exhibition dedicated to the art of Vienna around 1900 with Klimt and Schiele. We'll reopen this exhibition on the 2nd of June, but today people will have the opportunity to discover the collections. We opened them on just one day before we had to close the institution. So there is a lot of things to be discovered, including a contemporary art show in the basement floor dedicated to a Russian artist with an installation related to one of our Degas works in the collection. So it makes sense to reopen these 2 sections today.
And so what will visitors experience here that's different compared to before the lockdown? What kind of precautions will you be taking to make sure that the social distancing is enforced?
Well, the most important device is social distancing. We'll have 2 meters between the visitors. We have very clear instructions already given at the outside of the museum, and then you have a one-way visit through the whole building, so there is no way to cross visitors, and so I think everybody should feel perfectly safe. People have to disinfect their hands before entering into the museums. They have many places, including the public toilets, of course, where they can wash and clean their hands. There are special devices, of course, in the restaurant, which has different rules than the museum, the public museums. And we have perspex, glass to make a distance between our staff and the visitors. So everything is really ready, including, of course, the numbering of visitors. We'll count them in order to be perfectly safe, not more than one person per 10 square meters. But even with many visitors, we can manage to welcome them all because the new museum is quite big. There are a lot of also spaces between the exhibition spaces, so there is really space for everybody.
And you mentioned one of your temporary exhibitions there. Now, from what I understand, that was quite a feat of trying to rearrange and being able to keep certain temporary exhibitions for longer. Can you tell us about how you kind of managed disruption to the planned exhibitions there?
Yes, indeed, that was quite a challenge because we opened a very important exhibition with very important loans from Austria, from Germany, from Spain, from other Swiss museums. Vienna 1900, Klimt, Schiele, Kokoschka. And we had to negotiate with 36 lenders in order to extend this Vienna exhibition until August 23rd. But all institutions and all private lenders were extremely cool because they all said, of course, we want to support you, we understand the special situation, and we're willing to really support your museum with the extension of our loan. So we didn't have a single one who told us, under no way. So the exhibition will be reopened on June 2nd until August 23rd. And we hope that many people will come. I think especially the Swiss visitors, because for the French, German, Italian visitors, it will be difficult until August, September, I guess.
And how about the financial cost for you of being closed for 2 months?
Yes, this is a very important aspect. So we lose money, of course, because we had to close for 2 months an exhibition from which we expected interesting income. But at the same time, we didn't have to pay our staff for supervising the exhibitions. So it's well, I think we haven't finished really our calculations, and we had to renounce to the summer exhibition. So we have one exhibition less, we have more costs because we had to pay the insurance for the Vienna exhibition, very well, much money. And so I think we'll be more or less even. So we won't lose anything financially.
And that's it for now. You can catch all of our content as always on our website, cnnmoney.ch, and stay in touch with us via all of our social media platforms. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Do take care, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.